Vanessa is 63 years old and has $650,000 saved for retirement, which should be enough for her, but one bad market swing and she could be done for. Should she stay retired, and how can she prepare her portfolio for market volatility? Stay tuned to see if Vanessa gets a red, yellow, or green light for her retirement. Welcome to Rise in Retirement,
where it is our goal to help you optimize and simplify your retirement plan.
I'm Jet.
And I'm Taco.
We are financial advisors at W.A. Smith Financial Group, a firm trusted by thousands of people just like you all over the U.S., helping you focus more on your life, worry less about your money. And we've got another great case example today, Taco.
Yeah, we have Vanessa. She's 63, been retired for a year, and she's loving it, right? It's everything that she dreamed of. It's what she wanted to get to at this point. Her plan was tight when she made that decision a year ago, and she has enough to make it through right now. Everything still looks pretty good, but one bad market swing with the way she's allocated could really, get her off the rails here pretty quickly.
Yeah, gosh, wouldn't it be nice for everyone, for you, for us, if you could invest for growth and have safety too? That would just we wouldn't have a job probably if that were the case. So people like Vanessa are in a tough spot sometimes. I mean, things are going well, as you mentioned, and she's seeing it. She's seeing that she's got her portfolio allocated through her advisor's recommendation a little bit too aggressively for what she's comfortable with, but she's being led to say, hey, no, your withdrawal rate's a little higher. We have to stay aggressive. We got to keep up with your withdrawal rate. So we're going to jump into red, yellow, or green for Vanessa. Stay with us till the end, and we'll tell you where she stands. But before we do that, if you like today's video, if you find some value in it, make sure you like, share, subscribe. This helps us reach more people just like you. And coming up later, we'll talk about this, but riseinretirement.com. There's a link in the description below. Make sure you check it out. A lot of valuable resources there. So let's jump into Vanessa.
Yeah. So give a little recap of Vanessa, especially a year ago when she retired. Again, retired at 62. She's currently 63. She tapped Social Security immediately. She's single. All of her debts are paid off. Again, plan was a little tight though. She has $650,000 saved up. She needs to pull an additional $3,800 per month in addition to that Social Security payment that she gets to love retirement, which she is loving, right? And the $3,800 equates to about a 7% annual withdrawal rate on her money right now. So I mean that's where she was at when she retired. That's where she's at currently right now. So not much has changed. It's kind of been a flat year for the most part, but she's loving it.
Yeah. Her advisor has been telling her, as we mentioned, to continue to stay aggressive. First year was good with returns. But Vanessa is having second opinions about that. She's kind of second guessing. She feels like, her 70% equity, 30% fixed income allocation that has been suggested and advised for her to use could put her into a really rough spot. And she's not the timing the market person, but she understands that markets do cycle from time to time. And we're going to see a major market downturn at some point in the early portion of her retirement, more than likely. And she's worried that one downturn is going to put her in a position where she'll either have to go back to work or decrease what she's withdrawing or turn the withdrawal off completely. And she just can't live that way.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work for her.
We talk about this all the time is, what individuals we work with, what they, try to achieve is financial peace of mind. That's what our number one goal is to get. And so Vanessa's not there.
Yeah.
She's, probably laying down at night thinking, gosh, how long can this sustain? So she's worried she doesn't have that full peace of mind that she's set. She's on cruise control. She doesn't have to worry about it. So the problem is the way she's allocated right now. Let's say we were to see a 20 to 25% decline in the market. The way that her current portfolio is set up is she's going to, she would see about 17 to 20% of that decline. Just assuming we're talking the equity markets. If the S&P 500 goes down 20 to 25, most likely, the way she's allocated, she's seeing 17 to 20 on the downside. What does that do to her portfolio? Well, 17% drop would take her 650 to about 540,000. She still needs the $3,800 per month. And so now a withdrawal rate goes from 7%, which is already pretty high, to 8.45%.
Yeah.
What happens there?
Well, Vanessa's already an emotional investor. So if she gets into that position, she's probably going to make some rash decisions, some irrational. She's going to clash even more with her financial advisor, because now the financial advisor, the broker, is going to say, hey, we got to catch up. Let's, the market's down. Let's chase this a little bit. Let's get back. We got to stay in. It's a long-term game here. You think of all the cliches that you hear from advisors in this scenario. And for her, I think she's going to make some ugly decisions. Now, I can't say that she will for sure, but where's that going to leave her at that point? Ultimately, if she goes to 8.45% withdrawal rate, what if it extends further? What if it doesn't end at 20 to 25%? We've had steeper, longer drops in the past, some that you guys all remember. What if she ends up being at a 9% withdrawal rate or a 10% withdrawal rate? Will she ever be able to recover? Knowing her history emotionally with how she makes decisions with money, I'd say probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say whether she will or not, but I don't know that she should stay retired under this current parameter.
Yeah. And it's super easy to sit here and go, oh, she could just cut all of her expenses for several years. That's what people say, right? And they're like, well, if she can't do this on 650, then she's doing things wrong. That people don't want to get to retirement, work their whole life, and then have to stop doing the things that they were having a blast doing. So that's the predicament we're in here, right?
I have not met very many people who say, yeah, my retirement vision is sitting on the porch and drinking lemonade and reading every single day. That just doesn't exist in today's world. So,
before we jump in,
sure.
To, where she stands now, is she on that path to, red, yellow, green? You had mentioned riseandretirement.com. I want to come back to that. It's in the, click on the link in the description to get there. It's packed with valuable resources, more video content just like this. But one of the really important ones is our Ascend 360 Insider. It's a weekly video sent to you from our CEO. It's power packed with retirement tips, important information for you to kind of keep up with the current environment. And you can get there again through riseandretirement.com.
Yep. If you're ready for a consultation, free, no obligation, choose the Retirement Tune-Up Financial Review there at riseandretirement.com. We'd love to sit down with you, virtual appointment. If you're in our neck of the woods, you can come into the office. Hope we can help you out. So let's give her the assessment. Andrew, where is Vanessa? Is she red, yellow, or green under her current predicament?
Well, she's not green. I'm not ready to give her red completely, so we're going to say yellow light, depending on what her next moves are.
Okay.
It's again, she could move closer to green potentially, or she could make decisions that take her further to red. Depending on what the next steps are. So, the way she's allocated now, it's just a kind of that pie chart, 70-30. Advisor says, yeah, you need to just hang tight, kind of stay with this investment allocation. There's more to it than that. So what would you advise somebody like a Vanessa to go from yellow light to green light? What are some alternative things that she can be doing outside of just a 60-40, 70-30 investment allocation? Well,
there's some things that we talk about with our clients as far as income planning strategies. I can think of a few that I'll highlight. Time segmentation. That's a bucketing or laddering type of strategy where you're taking less risk on the front end of the ladder and a little bit more on the back end. That could help her be a little bit more comfortable with the distributions that she's taking, whether markets are up or down. We could go with a cash flow option or a flooring type of strategy where we're identifying, hey, let's make sure we cover the basic expenses. You need $3,800. How much of that $3,800 is basic and how much is discretionary? Well, let's be a little bit more conservative on the money we're investing to cover the basic expenses. So there are some different approaches that she's using a goal-based strategy right now. Goal-based just simply means invest it 70-30, 80-20, 60-40, and take your withdrawal rate, and you got a pretty good shot that you're going to make it over the years. But market volatility, which is the one thing that's keeping her up at night, is the one thing that can really hurt a goal-based strategy.
Yeah.
So I think she needs to change her approach with how she's investing certain portions of her portfolio.
Yeah. And one of the approaches that we look at for many individuals is a core and explore, we call it, right? Yeah. And it's kind of what drives the investment allocation. And the core simply is saying, okay, Vanessa, here's your risk profile, right? Here's what you're comfortable taking, but it shouldn't stop there. And too often that is where it stops. With many advisors out there, it's just they get your risk profile and then they say, okay, you fit into this model. Well, there's more to planning for Vanessa, such as what we call our explore components. Well, she needs income. So what are we doing about that? Maybe inflation, diversified type of growth investment. So there's a lot of different explore components that have to come into play to really build out a comprehensive plan versus just throw it all into a model and hope for the best.
Let's jump to key takeaways today. Mine is very simple. You mentioned core and explore. Let's say that Vanessa, on a scale of 1 to 100, was a risk score or profile of 50. Mm-hmm. Instead of using a 50 portfolio, let's define how much of her money should be in the 20 to 30 range. And then for the money that she doesn't need to take withdrawals from, instead of being a 50, maybe we can be a 65 or a 70. So get her out of that cookie cutter approach of allocation based on risk tolerance, have two components that aggregately equal her risk tolerance score, and come up with a better strategy for income. I like the time segmentation approach for someone like her. I think bucketing where she's going to get her income from and making sure that the money she's withdrawing now is the most conservative aspect of her portfolio is going to help her sleep at night and weather those storms a little bit better in the future.
Yeah. And my takeaway, it goes hand in hand. It's making sure that you're working with the right people. I think too often we see advisors in this space who, and this isn't a negative on them, but their primary objective is to just simply manage the investments, manage the money only, not really thinking about anything else. So making sure that when you're in a situation like a Vanessa where you need income, you need to make sure that obviously you're getting the growth that you need to keep up with your portfolio. Maybe tax planning is important, healthcare, legacy, that you're working with somebody who brings more to the table than just the investment management.
Absolutely. So there's Vanessa for you. Make sure to like, share, subscribe today to the channel for today's video. If you have a comment, drop that below. We'd love to hear what you thought about the scenario today. If you'd like us to cover your scenario, get a hold of us. Head over to riseandretirement.com and either get one of our free guides, request the book, request a retirement tune-up financial overview. We would love to chat with you.
That's it for today. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week on Rise and Retirement.